She has guided more than 10 PG research scholars. She has published more than 25 research papers in reviewed in international journal and conference of reputed. Dr. Bhargava is a editor member of Journal of Robotics and Intelligence India, and she is also in the review committee of DSEA Index Journal. He currently area of research included image processing and machine learning. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome for our international conference as a keynote speaker. Now, the second keynote speaker is Aditya Sinha. Jaka sir, Aditya Sinha is available for the our.
I think sir has not done till now, so we will introduce him later on. So.
Okay, so welcome, ma'am. Welcome, ma'am. Anuja Bhargava, ma'am. Now I am just requesting you. Can you hand over for my mic for the Anuja Bhargava, ma'am?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Welcome, ma'am.
May I audible to everyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the PPT is also visible to everyone, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. Anuja Bhargava from GLA University. Without wasting any time, we will start our topic. It's not working. Okay.
It is working now, ma'am.
Yes. Yes. So machine learning and data science are the most significant domains in today's world. All the science fiction that you see happening in the world is a contribution from fields like data science, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. With this in mind, we will be looking at the interesting topic today, that is exploring the machine learning with data science. We will discuss distinction between machine learning and data science. So without any further delay, let's take a look at today's agenda. So here it is. We are going to begin with this session by defining what exactly the data science is. And after that, we will move and look at what machine learning is. And we briefly discuss the fields that come under data science. After that, we will discuss our use cases where we see how data science and machine learning are used in recommendation engines. So the very first question is, let's get started with our first topic now. Before we get into the details of data science, let's understand how the data science came into existence. So do you remember anyone that when most of the data was stored in Excel sheets, that was the very basic simpler time because we generated lesser data and the data was quite structured. Then we use simpler business intelligence tools to analyze and process the data, but times have changed. Over around 2.5 quintillion bytes of data is recreated every single day, and this number is only going to grow from here. So it is estimated that around 2020, 1.7 MB of data will be created every second for every person on the earth. So can you imagine how are we going to process this much data? Not only the data generated these days is mostly unstructured or semi-structured. So in order to process such data, we need some more complex and effective algorithms. We need a more advanced field. This is exactly where the data science comes in. Data science is basically all about uncovering findings from data by exploring the data at a granular level to mine and understand the complex behavior trends and influence in the data that can help us and enable to companies to make smarter business decisions. So I'm sure all of you have been watching on Netflix that now Netflix data mines movie viewing pattern of its user to understand what drives user interest, and then it uses the particular data to make decisions on which Netflix series is produced. Now you know why data science is important and what exactly it is. So let's move ahead and discuss what really a machine learning is. So the idea behind the machine learning is that you teach the machines by feeding them data and letting them learn on their own without any human intervention. So to understand this particular machine learning, let us consider a small scenario. So let us say that you have enrolled for some skating classes and you have no prior experience of skating. So initially you would be pretty bad at it because you have no idea about it, and observing is just another way of collecting whole data and the observations and our experiences. So machine is basically capable of learning on their own when they are fed as good amount of data. So this is exactly how any machine learning works. So machine learning is, we can define technically like it is the process of getting machines to automatically learn and improve without being explicitly programmed. So machine learning begins with reading and observing the training data to find useful insights and the patterns in order to build a model that predict the correct decisions, and so the performance of the model is then evaluated by the testing data set. So now this particular process is carried out until the machine automatically learns and maps into the correct output without any human intervention. So I hope all of you have a good idea about what basically a machine learning is. So before we start comparing between machine learning and the data science, let's try to understand the different fields which are covered under the data science. So now the data science, as you see, it is cover a wide spectrum of domains, including artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. Data science use various artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning methodologies in order to analyze data and then extract useful insight from it to make things more clear. Let me define these terms individually. Basically, artificial intelligence is a subset of data science which lets machine to learn the human-like behavior. So they try to mimic human-like behavior. Machine learning, on the other hand, is a subfield of artificial intelligence that provide machines the ability to learn automatically and then improve from their experiences without being explicitly programmed or without using any human intervention. So now the deep learning is basically a part of machine learning that uses various computational measures and algorithms inspired by some structures and the functions of the brain called as artificial neural network. So to conclude this, the data science involves the extraction of knowledge. Basically, it extracts the knowledge from data in order to use a bunch of different methods from various machines like machine learning, deep learning, and artificial intelligence. A point which you have to note here is that the data science is a wider field and does not exclusively rely on those techniques. So there is a lot of things in the artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning than just the data science part. So now you have a clear distinction between what the AI, ML, and DL are. So let's discuss the use case here. We will see how the data science and the machine learning is used in the working of recommendation engines. And so before we start by comparing the data science and machine learning, let's look what exactly the recommendation engine is. What is the recommendation engine? So let's go with the recommendation engine. So I'm sure that you all have used Amazon, Flipkart for online shopping. So have you noticed, have anyone noticed that when you look for a particular item on Amazon, you get recommendation of similar products, right? So how does Amazon know this? How does it show you items which are relevant to your interest? The reason why companies like Amazon, Walmart, Flipkart are doing so well is because of how they handle the user generated data. The data is generated by the user is all handled easily by these websites. All of these companies are data driven companies. These are depends on the user data only. So the key to their business, how their business grows, it has always been on the data, and that's the reason why they are growing so much, because the data they can capture is just related to the users. Now a recommendation system basically filters a list of choices for each user based on their browsing histories, ratings, profiles, details, transaction details, card details, and so on. So such a system is used to get useful insights about customer shopping patterns. It basically provides every user a particular view of the e-commerce website based on their profile, and it allows them to select some relevant products. For example, if you are for a new laptop on Amazon, there is a possibility that you might want to buy a laptop bag or the mouse or keyboard. So now Amazon will decide this possibility by stating the details of similar transactions. It maps similar transactions together, and then it suggests relevant items to the user. Now let's see how data science and the machine learning are used to build a recommendation engine. So here, this is the entire data science life cycle. It starts off with a business requirement. Now, before you even start on a data science project, it is very, very important for you that you have to understand the problem that you are trying to solve. The objective here is to build a recommendation engine that will suggest relevant items to each particular customer based on the data generated by them. Now, the second stage is data acquisition or data gathering. So after you define the objectives of your project, it's time to start gathering the data. This process is also known as data mining. Data mining is basically the process of gathering some data from different sources. Now the next phase after data acquisition is data processing. Usually you never have data stored directly in our database. If you are very lucky, then only this is going to be happen. Otherwise, you will have to find the scrap of the data. So this is where you transform your data into the desired format so that you can read it. And now next is data cleaning. It is one of the most time-consuming tasks in data science. In recent survey, it was found that about 50 to 80% of time goes in data cleaning. This can be a very tedious task because you don't know what are the relevant items and the missing values. So if you have to remove all the irrelevant items or the inconsistent data, these inconsistency have to be identified and fixed in this particular stage itself. So, for example, if you are filtering and needful logs from the less needful ones, and if you are trying to identify the fake reviews, or if you are trying to remove some unnecessary comments or the missing values, all of that is deleted at this particular stage only. So after you are done with your data cleaning and your data processing, your next stage is data exploration. This is a very critical stage because here you try to understand the patterns in your data and you try to retrieve any useful insights. Now, in our case, since each user might have a different taste or they might have a different opinion about any item, their respective data set will be different. So each user will have a different data set depending upon the likes and the dislikes. This is how we perform data exploration here. We need to find patterns or behavior of a particular customer, and such information is used to grow the business. So only after you know what customer likes or dislikes, you will be able to suggest, recommend something to them. This is exactly how data exploration works. But when it comes to a recommendation engine, so here we can see the recommendation engine is very important for these working websites. You are just going to study the shopping behavior of each customer and then try and suggest relevant items to each particular customer. Now move to the next stage, that is data modeling stage. There is no actual distinction between machine learning and the data science. In fact, machine learning is a method which is used by data science in order to retrieve useful information. So there is no actual distinction between them, but they do have different processes or they do have different stages. I will talk in the next data modeling stage. And at this data modeling stage is where you incorporate machine learning with the data science. So basically the entire modeling stage, the entire data modeling stage is the machine learning process. So let's look at what is the machine learning process. So here there are 5 stages that you have defined over here are basically the steps in data modeling phase. Now in the data modeling phase is where machine learning is implemented. So let's look at how the machine learning basically works step by step. It begins with importing the data. So there is the data that we already gathered in the previous stages. We are going to import that particular data for the machine learning process. Now, this particular data has to be in a readable format or tabular format or the comma semicolon format. After you import the data, the next step is data cleaning. Now, I know that we already performed data processing and data cleaning in the data science stage, but it is very iterative process. You cannot just clean everything at once. You have to do this repetitively. After we import the data, we might notice a list of duplicate values or the missing values or the null values. So such inconsistency in the data can cause wrongful predictions, and they have to remove at this particular stage. Now the next in the machine learning is we have to create a model. Over here we perform the data splicing. Data splicing is basically splitting the data set into 2 sets. One is for training purpose and another is for training testing model. After that, we will build the models by using the training data set. These models are nothing but the machine learning algorithms like k-nearest neighbor, support vector machine, linear regression, SRC, support representative classifiers, and so on. For a problem statement like recommendation engines, we can make use of clustering and classification algorithms. After building the algorithm, we have to build our model. Next stage is going to be a model training. So the model, machine learning model is trained on the training data set. Earlier, we performed data slicing, where we split the data set into the training and testing set. So on the model training, obviously, we are going to use the training data set. Also, a very large portion of the data set is used for training. And so that model can learn to map the input and the output on a small set of values. Next step in machine learning is model testing. Now, after you train the model, it is then evaluated using the testing data set. At this particular stage, the model is fed new data points and it must predict the outcome by running the new data points on the machine learning model that we have already trained. Now, the last stage is improving the efficiency of the model. So after you create the model and evaluate it using the testing data, its accuracy is calculated. So a lot of methods can be used for improving the accuracy, can be used for such as cross-validation techniques. So after you improve the accuracy and the efficiency of your model, we finally came back to the last phase of the data lifecycle, which is deployment and the optimization. So the aim of this particular stage is basically to deploy the model into the production environment. So basically, this is our endpoint where we deploy the recommendation engine on our e-commerce website or any sort of data-driven websites. So apart from deploying it to production, we may also check the performance of the model. Then the issues have to be fixed in this particular stage itself. So this is our use case where we basically study the entire data lifecycle and machine learning process. Since machine learning is a part of data science itself, there is no much comparison between them. They are basically the different separate cycles, but used together. So machine learning aids data science by providing number of algorithms for data modeling, decision making, or data preparation. On the other hand, data science stretch a bunch of ideas or algorithms drawn from machine learning to create a basic solution. So the next question is why there are so many machine learning techniques. The thing is that different algorithms solve different distinct problems. In the case of supervised learning, machines need a teacher who educates them. Then machine learning specialist collects a set of data and label it. Then they need to communicate the training and the rules to the machine. And next is unsupervised learning. It does not require any educator. A computer is given a set of unlabeled data. It is supposed to find the patterns and come up with the insights by itself. And the semi-supervised learning people can slightly guide the machine along the process by providing a set of labeled training data. Next, reinforcement learning happens in an environment where the computer needs to be operated. The environment acts as teacher, providing the machine with positive or negative feedback that is called reinforcement learning. So here are some of the most popular machine learning algorithms. Classification, that is regression, SVM, helps us to deal with a wider range of problems. It allows us to make more informed decisions, sort out the spams, predict whether the borrower will return the loan, or tag friends in a Facebook picture. Sometimes you need to divide things into categories, but you don't know what these categories are. Classification uh, provide users to predefined classes to assign the objects. On the other hand, clustering allow us to identify similarity between the objects and then group them according to the characteristics they have in common. This is the mechanism that lays behind detecting frauds, analyzing documents, grouping clients, and more. Clustering is example of decision tree, k-means, or it is widely used in sales and marketing for customer segmentation and personalized communication. Machine learning software enables you to provide a data-driven approach to continuous improvement in practically any field. You can apply product usage analytics in order to discover how these products features affect after the demand. There are several sophisticated software equipped with this empirical data, helps to uncover ineffective measures, allowing to avoid unsuccessful decisions. Financial situations lost about 5% of revenue each year to fraud. By building models such as historical transactions, social network information, and other sources of data, it is possible to spot anomalously before it's too late. This helps detect and prevent fraudulent transactions in real-time applications, even for previously unknown types of fraud. So the question again here is how to choose which type of machine learning techniques we have to solve in our problem. So firstly, we have to categorize our problem. It's possible to categorize tasks by input and output. If you have a set of label data, or you can say prepare such a set of data, it is the domain of supervised learning. If you still need to define a structure, it's a unsupervised learning problem. If you need to model to interact with the environment, you will apply the reinforcement learning. If now we see the outputs, if the output of the model is a number, that 1, 2, 3, if it is a number, then it's a regression problem. If the output of the model is a class and the number of expected class, that is, we have to detect the fruit is healthy or defected, then it is a problem of classification problem. If the output of the model is a class, but the number of expected class is known, like we are detecting a fruit, it is rank 1 or rank 2, or it is just defected one, then it is the problem of clustering problem. If you need to improve performance, it's optimization problem. If you want a system to offer options based on the history of the actions, it's a recommendation problem. If you want to obtain insights from data, apply pattern recognition model. If you want to detect some problems, use anomaly detection algorithms. So the process of choosing the algorithm is not limited to categorize the problem. You also need to have a close look at your data. That is, what is the input behind it, because it plays an important role in the selection of any right algorithm for the problem. Some algorithm function normally with smaller sample sets, while others require a huge number of samples. Create algorithm work with categorical data, while others only work for numerical input. So understanding your data demands certain steps like processing, feature engineering. In processing the components of the data, process are pre-process, profiling, cleansing, pulling together data from different internal and external sources. And in the feature engineering, we need to transform the raw data into the features that can represent the underlying problem to the predictive models, and it helps to improve the accuracy and get the desired results faster. So choosing the algorithm is a very comprehensive task that demands the analysis of a variety of factors. Other things that might affect the choice of a model is the accuracy of the model, interpretability of the model, complexity of the model, scalability of the model, or the time it takes to build the train and the test of the model. So with this, we come to the end of today's session. If you have any doubts regarding today's session, please drop a mail and I will get back to you at the earliest.
And thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, I'm just asking one question. Can I ask you, ma'am?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Ma'am, you are filled in the EC, and then after your knowledge is very vast in machine learning. How can we knowledge in the machine learning, ma'am? Because you are the field in the EC department and EC branch. Ma'am, your knowledge is very good. That's why I'm asking this question.
Okay, actually, sir, I have from my BTech onwards, I have very interesting in image processing.
Okay.
In BTech, I have formed the number plate recognition project, and in MTech, I'm very much fond of image processing, machine learning. That's why, with respect to EC, I am going to the CS.
Ma'am, thank you very much, ma'am, for your knowledge session. I hope all the participants have learned about the data science and the machine learning and the deep learning. Your vast knowledge has helped us to gain new insights regarding the science. Ma'am, thank you very much for your session, and thank you very much for the presenting your. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir, for inviting me as a speaker. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I'm just introduce next
keynote speaker.
Keynote speaker, Dr. Aditya Sinha. He's done B in computer science, Swami Keswaran Institute of Technology, and also he's done MTech in software engineering in the Manipal Institute of Technology and Technology Manipal, and he has done a PhD in image processing, Manipal University, Jaipur, and he's currently working as assistant professor, Manipal University, Jaipur, Rajasthan. I am welcoming you, sir, for the behalf of international conference on data science and engineering application. Now he has published more than 10 national and international journals, and he is conduct and attending the lots of workshops, seminar, and FDP, and also the work as a resource person in a summer university program, the training in image processing and the computer vision, Feb 27, and held in the Manipal University, Jaipur, organized by the Manipal University, Jaipur. And he is also the idea selection and presented among the 30 college for the India in ICI Trinity. So welcoming, sir. Welcome you in our international conference for the keynote speaker.
Good morning, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words and for your invitation and inviting me as a keynote speaker in your prestigious conference. I'm glad to share my experience and work which I have done in my recent past with you, all of you guys, and hope it will be beneficial to all of you.
Welcome, sir. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
So, should I share my screen?
Yeah, sir.
Sir, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So I request you, sir, to please turn on the video.
Yeah, sure, sir. Just a minute. Actually, there was some issue with my Windows laptop, so I switched to my Ubuntu. So, just figure it out.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You are visible, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Welcome, sir.
Okay. Good morning, all. So we had a very good lecture by the previous speaker regarding how exactly and what exactly are intricate details of the data science, machine learning, and various aspects of it. So I am going to talk more about an application of computer vision and machine learning in one of the domains which is a real world application. This is the work which I have been doing with my students and from the recent past and the previous times also and the current time as well. I have been interested in plant health monitoring in the how exactly are diseases and various things actually affect the plants and various crops, and how exactly can we solve these problems using some of the techniques and technologies which we have at our disposal. So I tried to solve it. It all started with when I was actually working as a research associated in CSIR Siri Pilani. There we worked on an agrobot, and we were thinking of we made that bot, and it had various sensors on it, such as environmental sensors, IR sensor, temperature sensor, humidity sensor. So that bot used to roam around in the farms, and it used to monitor the each crop at itself. Then it used to send all the data back to a monitoring station, and we used to evaluate what is the condition of that certain crop. So over the expansion of that agrobot, we wanted that bot should have an arm which is associated over the top of it, and it should have a camera on it as well, so that it can evaluate various aspects of that crop as well. Because visual inspection of a crop gives more insight to exactly where and how much and to which extent has the disease actually affected the crop, or what is the exact condition of that crop. So extending over that thought, actually I worked upon various projects regarding that same domain itself, and this is the work which I want to extend over here as well. That is, how exactly can we monitor various plant disease issues and stuffs using computer vision and machine learning and other techniques as well. So what exactly is plant disease and why we should be bothered about it? Still, the agriculture is the major source of food nowadays, and from the past as well, for human history and for humans as well. There have been numerous technologies which are developed in laboratories, but still they are not replaced, or they are not even close to substituting it in the real world. So we have to be dependent on agriculture for coming generations, I guess. So we should be bothered about the things which actually affect the overall condition of the agriculture as well. So one of the major things which affect the overall conditions and overall situations of the agriculture is the diseases which affect these various crops. So if we go by the formal definitions of it, that is what exactly we can call a plant disease is you can call it as a symptoms in a plant that are defined as a response to alterations of the physiological functions and metabolical disorders. So these are very important terminologies. Like, you can look into the disease into various at various levels, such as you can look at in a very miniature level, like going into the which pathogen is it being affected by, or you can also go by the visual symptoms and how it is being looked upon. So if you are looking into visual ranges, then you are going into the visual cameras and the ranges which are already there. You can even go to different wavelengths also, such as having hyperspectral images and going on to other wavelengths as well. That will tell you a different story altogether about the diseases. So these all things in combination will give you a very good detail and a very good intricate insights in what exactly is plant disease, and all of them are a problem and a problem to deal with. So we have our solutions. Since I belong to computer science field, I was interested in solving these problems using some computer the solutions which are there in computer science itself. So I was very much interested in computer vision and image processing and machine learning techniques. So machine learning came actually later on. Firstly, I was interested in computer vision itself. So we tried to solve these things. We tried to solve just a small little part of these problems using computer vision and image processing techniques. So these symptoms, if we look into visual ranges, these can be the disease symptoms can be visualized onto leaves, stems, roots, fruits, seeds, and various parts of the plants as well. So you can have the evaluation of these things, these diseases onto these crops on by evaluating any of these disease or any of these aspects as such. Like you can look at these parts as an individual effects, or you can look at them as a combinational effects. So what it will do is basically it will tell you the overall picture of which disease is it. There are various questions in them which you need to which you can answer using computer vision and various techniques, such as which exact disease is it, and each of these questions are actually a problem statement and a question in and a domain to work upon, such as which disease is it specifically, how which disease which pathogen has actually caused this disease, what is the extent of this disease, like what is the quantification and how much severity has this disease spread upon, can we actually predict these disease beforehand, can we predict these disease in an early phase. So there are all these questions, and there are other questions as well. These all questions are problem statements in itself. You can actually break them down into smaller sub problems and can work upon to them, and each one you can solve using various solutions which you have, such as any machine learning techniques, unsupervised, supervised. This will depend on the extent of the problem and the type of the problem there is. So if you can have, I'll give you some examples how exactly can do this. And if you try to answer these problems using the technologies which we have, you will be actually able to solve the yield loss problem. There is the problem of crops which are not getting, if you're not getting the proper yield from those crops, and so actually affecting the overall economy as all those things. So these are implied losses which we can actually see if you can solve these problems as such. So if we can define the diseases as such, we can broadly classify them into these five subcategories. That is, the diseases can be caused by fungus, virus, insects, bacteria, and deficiencies. Each one of them is a domain in itself, and you can actually work upon them. You can have various problems to deal with them. So we are trying to solve various problems related with all of these five domains as such. And now there are some things on which you can actually focus upon, such as the fungus will cause a certain type of lesion on the plant leaf, on the stem, onto the root, onto the fruit. The lesion pattern actually will have some kind of a identification through which you can actually identify whether this infection actually has been caused by a fungus or not. Similar things you can extend upon to virus, insects, bacteria, and deficiencies. Deficiencies are actually very interesting concepts. If you can see the diagram which is given here, each color leaf is representing a deficiency of a certain chemical in it. So if you're going by the preparation of the data set for, say, a potassium deficient plant, you can have that color as a color palette, and then you can make upon various libraries, various data sets following upon to that color palettes itself. So you can see upon there are various aspects where you can actually work upon in this domain. I'll give you some examples where exactly is computer vision and machine learning we have applied upon. You can also extend this to other domains as such. This is an example, the first example. Before that, I'll tell you there are various public data sets also available. Now, if you're going to work in this domain, you need to have a data set for yourself. Now, you can work in this. You can have two different approaches. Either you can make your own data set, or you can follow the public data sets which are already available and published in various reputed journals. So the later options is always a quicker way to do to start upon your things, but the earlier option will actually teach you a lot of things about how exactly this data has to be prepared, because there needs to be a protocol in which you need to follow to make that data set into practice. So we followed that, and we tried to make a data set on our own of olive crop basically. But we also followed the public data set which is already available, and very reputable ones also are available there. So some of the very famous data sets which are already available there are given by Hughes and Salate, that is the plant village data set. It's already available in GitHub, Kaggle. You can get the data set. It's very well made, because it's been made by the verification of plant pathologists and the people who are expert in this domain. So they have verified all of this data, and you can, and the work has been published in a good journals as such. So we can work upon them. The first if you the image, if you can see the lesion which is there, the infection pattern which is there in the very first leaf, that is the olive leaf, olive plant is there. So it has been affected by Neofabria spot, and there are various diseases which affect each of these plants. We have taken upon the very first example, that is of the olive leaf. You can see the lesion is there in a one small cluster, and it's not extending onto the overall leaf as such. So these lesions can also tell a lot about the diseases as such as if the lesion is actually spreading out to various clusters. It will be a different problem statement as such, and it will be very hard to quantify that disease spread. But it's very easy in this case because it's there in a very small cluster as such, and it is very prominent also. You can have various levels of it, such as this is in a very high level of infection. You can have this infection in a small in an early phase, and then you can have an early detection of this Neofabria leaf spot on the olive plantation. And we have found upon that there are various region of various techniques in which you can actually extract these lesions out of this. We have found by our experimentation is that k-means clustering and lab color thresholding, LAB color thresholding, what are the best in this case scenario. To find the best threshold, you can have the various optimizing algorithms applied to it, such as you can apply any nature-inspired algorithm to it. You can apply global thresholding, and you can apply various thresholding techniques through which you can identify that threshold value, which will apply on that lab color threshold, that histogram of it. So, because in this it was easy because the spread was in one region only. But if you go to say a peacock spot, which affects the olive plant again, it affects other plantation also, but in this case we are just talking about the olive plantation. By the shape, if you go by the morphological properties of it, it looks very much similar to the Neofabria spot, but in the color palette and the color representation of it is completely different. So if you look into disease into various aspects, that is basically your features which you are selecting for this disease. Such as if you go into the shape feature, if you go into the color feature, if you go into the texture features, you will have a different picture of the disease as such. Such as if you go by the morphological the shape feature of this Neofabria and the peacock spot, they look exactly the same, almost the same. So if you are going by that, it is very hard to distinguish between them. But if you go by the texture features, if you go by the color feature, you will get the distinguishing between factors between them just by looking at the visually, just by having a visual inspection of it as such. So in this way also in the peacock spot also we found that the k-means clustering and the normal color thresholding in the lab histogram worked the best. Here also the cluster was mainly spread to one, the lesion was actually spread to one cluster, mean cluster only. In the case of a grape spot and if we go into the grape plantation, we have seen that in the grape leaf was actually affected by grape spot, and this was a bacterial disease. Here the single spot was around 3 millimeter, usually around 3 millimeter emerging, but here the infection was also spreading to other parts of the leaf. So to have a quantification and if you go by the plant health monitoring or plant disease, if you call it as such, solving that problem using machine learning, you can broadly classify that into 4 parts. That is the detection part, that is the isolation of the infection part onto the leaf. Then you can go upon to the quantification part, that is basically the severity measurement and how much exactly the infection pattern has grown upon to that leaf. Then you can go into the classification part, that is which exact disease is it. And the 4th one, which is a newer phase, which actually goes into the machine learning domain, that is the prediction part. That can you actually predict based upon various environmental factors that there is a huge probability and a very big that you can actually predict the disease beforehand, such that your environmental factors are actually pointing towards that certain disease. So these are the major 4 sub classifications of that plant health monitoring if you go by that. and each of these subdomains have various other domains as also sub parts as sub areas as which, such as if you go by the isolation part, you can have various universal approaches. You can try to work on various universal approaches for spot diseases, for bacterial diseases, let's say for mildew diseases, for rust diseases. So you can have various subdomains into specifically detection part only. Then if you go into quantification part, which I believe is the hardest of all these four subdomains, it is one of the hardest. Why? Because it involves the involvement of various sub disciplinaries as such. Because if I, by using some algorithm, can just predict that okay, this much is the infection percentage on this leaf, and I give you a certain percentage, let's say X percentage, but I can't validate that value actually. I need to have an expert from plant pathology who can actually verify that the value or the extent of the infection on that leaf is this much by his or her experience. So we need that kind of a validation for our results also. So that's why I believe the quantification part is always going to be the hardest of among all of these four subdomains. Then you have the classification part, which you can actually have into various, which you can actually do by various features which are already available there. Such as you can have a shape feature, you can have a color feature, you can have a texture feature, you can have you can have various other features on which you can actually do classification. Based upon that, we do various classifications. Certain features tells a lot about the infection patterns which are already there on the leaves, such as which we have identified in later studies also, is that some texture features such as your entropy, energy, IDM, they were telling a lot about certain diseases as such as they were correlated to these diseases quite predominantly. So if you work upon to these features only, then you can have a very good study with specific disease as such. If you go by some other infections which are there onto various diseases, various leaves, such as if you go by the tomato leaf, you can see the bacterial spot which is there. It's mainly affecting one cluster. So your cluster-based ROI isolation or the lesion isolation will work in this case very efficiently. But you can imagine you can have a masking technique or a lesion isolation technique for a clubbing of various bacterial infections on certain crops, or you can work upon an infection pattern isolation technique for tomato crops itself. So you can have various subdomains into this, such as if you look into potato early blight and there is a potato late blight. Potato early blight has a spread all across the leaf, and these are very predominant, and these are very actually dominant kind of infections and clusters which are already there on this leaf. But if you look into late blight of the potato, it is mainly into one cluster only. So that's a major difference between, and if you're going by the distinguishing in between the potato which is affected by early and the late blight, or if you go by the potato early blight, late blight, and the healthy plantation of the potato, you can actually be it's very much clear that you can actually identify and classify between them. So you can divide your problem into four parts, that is detection, quantification, classification, and prediction. So you can, one more thing which you can do, prediction can be in a broader sense and it can be on a smaller sense. Prediction, you can do that the environmental factors are pointing towards this disease, and you can also have that where exactly is that lesion actually going to spread that infection to. So both of them actually are based upon the prediction pattern and the prediction study of a disease on a certain plantation. This is one of the ways in which you can actually classify. This is one of the novel approaches which we have developed and published also in one of the journals, where we found upon that certain texture features which were based upon GLCM matrix, Harlick features, were more correlated with the specific type of diseases, such as the spot and the blight diseases, which were affecting various kinds of crops. Such as we derived our own classification equation based upon some novel weights which we have identified based upon the features which were derived from the overall features which were there from the Harlick feature itself. So this is one of the steps. This is one of the ways you can read upon in the one of the papers which we have published, and you can identify, you can classify basically spot and blight disease into various crops. We have followed five or six crops actually, which were affecting spot and the blight diseases, and then we extended this to various other. And here in this study, you can see that which exact features were playing a predominant role or were more effective in the case of various types of diseases, such as for olive neofabria spot. These texture features were very much in correlation with these infection patterns. The peacock spot, where I'm not listing out the names, you can read upon from here itself. The grape spot, tomato spot, each of them were mainly done by the bacteria, mainly caused by the bacterial pathogen itself. So here cluster shade, some variance, entropy, these were some features which were quite, if you do an evaluation of them, if you read upon them, you can only focus upon them and can have a classification based upon them. So this you can do the optimization of the feature set, you can do by various methods which are already there. We have done through cross correlation and through PCA, and we identified that we were able to, these features were actually telling a lot about these infections also. So if we go by, I'm skipping all this, if we go by, there are various literatures you can read upon. There are things in which you can actually identify in the domain which are already there, such as you can have the disease on which these people have worked upon and which pathogen exactly it is. Then which crop is it affecting, such as in this case it is cucumber, and which technique they have actually used for in this case for the classification and for the ROI isolation, and which color space have they actually worked upon, and what is the data set which they have used. So there are numerous data sets on which you can actually work upon. You can read upon all of this which is there in the papers which are already there. If you have any questions regarding this, you can always ask, and you can always mail with them. The question which I was telling you, the thing which I was telling you earlier is that you can actually make your own data set. That requires a lot of planning and logistics also, which are there, which I'll give you in a normal example of this as such. This is one of the examples of the farms from where we actually collected our data set from. So you have to be physically present there, and you have to follow a certain protocol, and you have to follow that again and again to get and acquire those pictures from this. So it is not only going to be sitting on your laptop and just preparing it from a CSV file and planning everything. This involves a real world interaction also. So to prepare a data set on your own will actually give you insights on how exactly, if you're related with the data set and if you have actually prepared in the real time, and by going into the real fields, it will give you a connect with the data. So which is very important. So this, what I'm just trying to give you a picture of it, how exactly will it feel if you deal with an agricultural data and if you're trying to get it from the field itself. So we actually went there and tried to get all of it from there. I think I'll not take much of time here. You get an idea that there is a lot of work you can actually do in the field of agriculture involving computer vision and machine learning techniques. And you can always contact me for further details if you have any queries on my mail. I'll try to reply as soon as possible. I'll not take your much time because I think you'll all have to present the papers also. So thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity to present this paper, the work. Hello. Anyone have any questions? Anyone have any questions?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your knowledgeable, share your knowledge. Sir, I'm just asking one question. Can I ask you, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Actually, this area also in my PhD topic. That's why I'm asking some questions, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, first of question, basically two types of data. One is training data and also testing data. So,
Yes, sir.
Where we go, which site we go in the collect the testing data, training data?
Sir, there are various data sets which are already available for the public domain. I'll give you one name, that is the plant village data set. You can go upon and check that out. It's there in the GitHub. It's there in the preprint also. It's also there in the Kaggle. Also there in the Mendeley. You can find that with this name, that is plant village dataset. There they have actually divided that into training and testing and all that. You can actually have various such as you can have 75% for your training and 25% for your testing. You can actually divide and test for your own case and how much accuracy you're actually getting. So you can look upon to that.
Actually, I'm just asking one more question, sir. Actually, how can we collect training data? Actually, I'm just going to the plant village site, and they are the very much good data because you are there using the good camera. So how can we collect the testing data for the real life? Because the camera
Sir,
is a major factor.
real life will have some logistic problems because you'll have to go to the field and collect it from the real field itself. You can contact various agricultural universities which are already there in the.
Okay. So then,
Yeah.
Adi sir, I'm just one help. Actually, I'm just going in my PhD in that kind of topic. So can you help me? I'm just
Yes, sir. You can
requesting you, sir.
contact me. No issues, sir. You can contact me in future. No issues,
Sir,
sir.
thank you, sir. Thank you
No
very
issues,
much
sir.
for your
Yes,
knowledge
sir.
session, sir. Sir, I
There is-
hope all the participants has been the learn about the data science, machine learning, and the plant. How can we detect the plant disease, and your knowledge have helped us to gain new insight regarding data science. So thank you very much for the keynote speaker in our international conference in the data science and engineering applications, sir. Once again, sir, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir, for inviting me into your prestigious conference. Thank you, Jakar sir, also. Thank you, sir, also. I'll leave you guys for the presentation, and best of luck for all the participants. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Aditya is also my friend. I want to tell
Yes,
all of
sir.
you. So thank you for giving your valuable time in this conference. And I hope
Thank you,
we will
sir.
again meet soon in the next
Sure, sir.
conference.
Sure. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Next, I'm just my mic going hand over to Dakar sir for the session chair, and please call the participant who is present here their presentation for the paper. And my mic over to you, SP Jakar sir. Thank you, sir. And also, I am just inviting the Patidar sir. Patidar sir, can you hear Patidar sir? Because the next session is start, sir. Patidar, are you here?
Thank you, sir. Yes, I am here.
Yeah, welcoming, sir. Welcome you to the session chair, sir. We are our session is started, and some paper are also in the queue. So welcome the speech Jakar sir and Patidar sir for the session chair. Welcome you, sir.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Patidar sir.
Thank you so much, Jas sir, for inviting me as session chair. So I request to start this technical session 1. And the paper IDs which have been shown over to me are, I will call the paper IDs, so be ready. Paper ID 106, 108, 1118, 119, 120, 121, 122, 23, 24, 35, 37, and 38, 137 and 158. So I think paper ID 106 is ready.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here the PPT.
So screen is visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Yes, visible.
So good morning, all faculty members. My name is Shashank Pathak. I'm here to represent my major project with my team member. So Sudhanshu sir is our mentor, Sneha Kumari is our teammate, and myself Shashank Pathak. So our project is e-commerce website. As you've seen in this pandemic situation that that we have quite of restriction going outside and purchasing things. So in this COVID situation, it is safe to purchase essentials in online method so that we don't have or we have a least interaction with other persons. But as the pandemic has been going out and the unlock is happening in our country, we see a shift in common people's mentality that they are willing to purchase the product online more as compared to previous where they moved to offline stores and buy their product. So here are some survey which shows us that why it is important for our country to invest or to promote e-commerce. As you can see, there is market of roughly around 1.2 billion, which is surveyed conducted by NASSCOM in recent years. Business infrastructure will wages over give us leverage over the wages of 7 to 8%, as we can see in today's scenario in IT, especially in IT sector, that there are many booms in IT jobs where with the greater packages as compared to previous year, and it required a skill let's suppose in web development and other skills which are required to develop and proper infrastructure to work on it. And Indian government has supporting these of many startups nowadays, and here are you can see some of the advantage which is shown already, such as an e-commerce website can save our time. Like suppose we are in office or so many other we are doing so many other important job and we don't have the time to go for physically go to a store and buy something. So it gives us the time leverage to product versatility. This is the main problem or a feature which is covered by an e-commerce. Let's suppose we go to a showroom and we are looking for a shoes which we have particular image in our mind. But the thing is, showroom doesn't have that in stock. And we have seen these things in most of our cases. So what we do is we just compromise on our liking and switch to another product. But in this e-commerce scenario, we can have many platforms with a competitive rate because they are competing with each other. Like let's suppose Flipkart, Myntra, and Amazon. We are looking at shoe. We are looking at shoe. What we consider that the product must be original. It should be a good quality. It should be handled carefully, and it should be delivered in a proper or a small period of time. And this what makes the e-commerce website more feasible and connected to normal human. There are majorly two types of e-commerce website. First is marketplace, second is inventory led. In marketplace e-commerce website, the thing is the standard model which they work on is let's suppose I have a warehouse, I have a product, I don't know where to sell it, or I have an offline connection. What marketplace does is like Amazon or Myntra, I can sell my product on their site, which is a great opportunity for me as well because I have to skip on paying rent or showroom, giving the fancy charges of lights and ACs. This is what helps us in e-commerce marketplace where we have to sell our product. I can sell my product by just sitting at my home, by just getting order from their website and just fulfilling it. Their customer, their representative guy, or the services they have hired will come to me. A person come to me and take that product from me, which is a major playing role in e-commerce because so let's suppose I have very less amount of money, but I have to start my own business. So what I have to do is I have to buy small quantity of item or depend upon my budget, and I can list that product on a marketplace like Amazon or Myntra, and I can sell my product on them, which is turning out to be a huge profitable business for many of our freshing investors. And inventory-led model is we have a warehouse proper. We make our own shopping website. Let's suppose Nika, which is slightly shifting toward a marketplace model. But what it used to do is it is starting producing their own product. For example, the Mama, the Mika. What these are doing, they are making their own product they're promoting their product on their websites, and now they have started shifting to marketplace model. These are the in the slide. I am shown some small benefits or major benefits can be adopted by a small businesses. First of all, reach, which is very difficult for a small business to do, as you can know, and you have seen in our family and within print that with a small business, it's very difficult to reach out. We don't know proper communication method, whether we have to communicate or the medium we have to communicate to our customer, which can be a very important and a crucial part in our sales. So it provides us the e-commerce platform and e-commerce services provide us to reach to get a better reach with our customers. The search engine traffic, it also helps. Like, let's suppose I am in here, I have to search for a cafe in my local area. I don't know this area. Let's suppose I shifted to this new area.
Shashank, just a minute. Shashank, just a minute.
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. You prepared your paper from your project.
Yes, sir. These are the research.
Or...
yes, sir. These are our project research. We have.
So have you prepared your paper? Have you prepared your paper?
Yes, sir.
So be specific, and we have many more participants that are waiting for the presentation. So come to that what you done. What was work oriented by you, especially?
So we have done the market research, and the market research part is in this slide, in this presentation.
Come to that slide. So come to that slide and then start.
So actually, the thing is, project is still on a working progress. We have done a front-end part which is not completed yet. There are so many glitches in that. We are resolving
we don't want project. Actually, sir is asking about the research paper. So come to the research part. What have you done? Come to that slide. We are not asking that show us the project. We are not asking about the project.
These are the research actually what we have found out, which is done by UNCTD, United Nations Council of Trade, in which way it shows that what are the differences pre-COVID and after COVID, the sales difference between that product in a particular sector. And that's the reason we are choose to do this project and experience the benefit or what we can contribute in the e-commerce section. So this is a primary research.
So Shashank, just I want to ask that your work, how it is different from your work?
Yes, sir.
How it is different from the current e-commerce websites? What type of modifications you want?
Sir, actually, I'm focusing mainly on a logistic optimization, and the third part is inventory management for the sales for the organization which is providing the product. It means that I'm trying to reducing the gap of communication and product handling between the people which owns a warehouse and to a customer. That's our primary focus, and I think
so come to on the methodology by which you reduce these problems. Come to the basic topology models. Describe this such type of model or topologies that you use to minimize the latency. Right?
So actually, the thing is, those models are these are not like computer model. We have to set up a proper communication method between those warehouse owner, the people in warehouse, and the service representative guy. So what it will do is the optimized communication can provide a huge benefit. So that's what I'm trying to focus here. But it's a thing that can only be used by a system and a human too. So it's in work in progress, but it requires a time. So
Okay, keep continuing.
Okay, so here are the ecosystem. Yes, sir.
Continue with the slides.
Yes. So here are the system e-commerce contribution to our ecosystem, as you can see in our slide. It outlets in rural area. For example, Snapdeal, you have seen in this recent years that Snapdeal is literally tanking down nowadays. Products are not reliable. But what Snapdeal business model has done is they have complete their focus on tier 3 cities. In tier 3 cities, there are not major players or major investors are there. So what they do is they buy from a small seller which provide basic things, in a cheap price, and they sell on their platform. So they have dominated in this area. And e-commerce also provide, the government also giving a many incentive by promoting Digital India, Make in India, and Startup India. So these are the benefit and provided by e-commerce website. And here you can see some more data regarding its benefit, and which can lead to growth of our country. And yeah, that's it. Thank you, sir. Hello. Hello.
Shashank.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Shashank, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So may I leave?
Yeah. Next group 108.
Yes, sir.
Share your PPT.
Yes, sir. Hey, good morning to this panel. We have to present our research paper on fuelophilia on demand fuel at doorsteps. And the problem can be solved and the challenges faced by the peoples. What the peoples can we solve this? Who are the beneficial of the fuelophilia? And what are the, without delaying, I would like to present for this. Just like, next slide. Introduce on fuelophilia on demand, just like when fuel at delivery at the doorsteps, just like door to door fuel at just fuel is gas and some mechanics to deliver the doorsteps any problems facing in cars, bus, and some etc. And problem with refueling, just like when so many petrol pumps have so many clouded and so many times to waiting to the fuel tanks and just waiting so many long times. And just second is just like using generators in factories, colleges, and so many places. And third will be when our traveling a long distance, just like national highways, and our so long routes are not any petrol fuel pumps, and will be problem to facing the petroleums and the COVID situation in certain phase, the places without having any foods. Who we are, just fuelophilia based on delivery service provider to deliver the doorsteps fuels and the problems facing in national highways and some difficult situations to come and provide the fuels and technical supports to just like mechanic and meaning manufacturing customer sites, hotels, and colleges everywhere to deliver. How can you benefit from the fuelophilia? Just like first, save times will be if you just like you are going to anywhere and you are not to take any extra fuels, and will be to go to take a fuel extra and come here to and like to drop your cars, just call the fuelophilia and book over the fuel, and just we save times and come to and fuel it, save money also. Will be no longer and take bills records and membership also will be we are filling so many times in one customer the memberships, so discounts any just give vouchers giving and enjoy just like memberships. Then what is the solution? Save time, payment opportunities, handling emergency, improved quality also, because so many petrol pumps are not provide a good oil, just like we will be improve quality also. And just like using the save times, using apps, payment opportunity, handling emergency, improve qualities. And how to demand app, how to demand fuel app work. First detected your where about you, just like we are book your fueling, just we detect your where are you in 10 kilometers, specify the product type and refueling your car. And detecting your weight just like a live location in just 10 kilometers in using MongoDB. And specify the products type. The user specify which can fuel needs to the mobile service. User offer range different gas types, just like gases and oils, something using refueling your cars at your doorsteps, using your GPS, track your cars to and get your fuel in the car, payment changed, and customer interface also, just like registration login, just like use the customer of the Fuelophilia, your details and user profiles. You are create your profiles on Fuelophilia websites, and gas delivery orders when you book the gases and fuels, I will deliver you, and price will be when you booked so many times I will give you so many offers, just like some order trackings, when you book a oil and where the process of the my oil, they'll be track you live, and history also when you book 2, 3, 4 times, there will be histories of all, and the bill also support and assistance, customer support to help to any problems in websites and any problems you are facing, and invite friends for the sharing the apps, websites and labs. Thank you, sir.
So, Sonu Kumar, what have you done have you studied any paper regarding this, or have you done any research part? What is the research part here?
The research part here is the fuel at doorsteps, and will be provided the fuel in the, just when I will go anywhere long distance, I will empty of the fuel, I will provide the fuels doorsteps, and some colleges and some factory have refrigerators that we like to fuel deliver at the doorsteps.
Basically, it is an application you have developed, right?
Yes, sir.
It is an application
Sorry,
you
sir.
have developed. Have you built the application?
No, sir. I'm working on progress, sir.
Okay. So you didn't mention about the coding methodology algorithms that you use for this technology.
Just like using technologies are HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React.js, and the database to using MongoDB, SQL.
So these things should be mentioned, I think, in the presentation. You didn't mention anywhere that in what type of methodology or coding or algorithm you are working. Just to describe your process.
Okay, so.
Okay. You mention these.
So, Zakir sir, we continue.
Yes, sir.
What my research paper work?
Yes, Sonu, what were you saying?
So just like I'm represent what my website will work and what will solve the problems for the real lives problems people's facing.
Oh, okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
So the next paper ID is 118. Who is going to present this paper? 118. Neelam?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. Start.
Hello, everyone. First of all, let me introduce all with my project research paper, that is donation app. We have given the name, it's Helping Hands. So basically donation, let me introduce my project guide, Ms. Kehkasan Rahman Qureshi. She's an assistant professor of Department of Computer Science, and my other project group members are Lakshita Seni, Khushi Arora, and Prateek Kumar. So we have all together made this donation app Helping Hands. So basically this project is based on the kind of a donation website. So here the donation, here the donation and the receiver is included. It's a bridge between a donor and a receiver. So it's basically a money donating app. Here all the needy people who are in need of money can share, can take the money from that, and the donor who are the investor can donate money through this app to the needy people. So this project basically we have made for the front end and the back end project as a bridge between both of the applicant, donor and receiver. So seeing this, the currently COVID-19 situation, as we have seen at the time of COVID-19 situation, we have a money crisis. Many of the people job had lost. Many people have seen the financial crisis. So due to the money crisis, many of people are in the need of a money. So thinking of that, we have created this donation app. So it's a easy approachable app where donor can easily donate the money, and the receiver who are in needs of money related to education or any other financial crisis, they can take the money from here. We have also created a mediator for verification. So for the verification of both the donor and the receiver, there is a mediator who can check and verify is the person who really want the money is verified or not, or the object of our project is research to transfer the fund to the only financially needed people and to create a platform so where money can be easily transferable. And aim is to it's a propose a mobile application helping, and it's an effective and easiest platform to donate the money, ensure the transparency of donation process. So work plan like we have done in for this project is like we have gathered all the information requirement for the project and started. First we are working on the front end, which through the Android Studio, and we have also taken the help from the many similar websites, so then what changes we can make through that and make our project and website more presentable and effective and easily approachable. So it will be easy for every person who are in the village or who are in the city side, who are educated or uneducated, can be easily available to all those people and can be easily smooth going. We have also created design for a mobile app. So we have design a login page and a sign up page. This is our login page and this is our sign up page. It's a easy approachable login page and a sign up page. So there are very basic details, so anyone can easily do the sign up and login. Our features for this app are the up as a donor receiver. Donor can see the detail of the receiver and receiver also can see the details of the donor, and donation history is also available in our app, and the notification also will be given, and the verification mail and all the details will also share to the people. The technologies which we have used is Android Studio, and the Android Studio we use Kotlin, Firebase, Python and Python Flask. So Android Studio we have used as it's help us to develop our app more effective and productive at a large scale, and for Android accelerate our development and help us to build the highest quality app so that we can use the fastest building tools and optimize our project flow. Kotlin is a free open source statically typed programming, so we have used that as it is open object oriented and programming features. So it is also interoperability and safety like tooling. There are many tools which support and will be helpful for us to develop as a server side and a client side. So we have used the Kotlin. Firebase also we have used in a Python. So Python Firebase for a backend purpose. It's a mobile platform to develop high quality app, grow our user base, and Firebase hosting workout as a box, Firebase service, including cloud functions, authentication, and it's a provide tool for tracking the detail of the receiver and the donor and fixing our app. Is there any crashes or creating marketing and product experiment? Firebase is made up of complementary features that can mix and match with our needs. Another, we have used the Python, as we all are familiar with the Python. In a backend purpose, we have used the Python. It's a general purpose programming language, and it's also interpreted language. We have used Python, as in Python there are many libraries which are used for us easy going to make our code, and as libraries are there, so it will be easy for us to writing code and make it more presentable. Another, we have used the Python Flask. It's a small and lightning weight Python web framework, which we have used that creating web application in our backend part. It gives developer flexibility and accessible framework for new developer. It's basically a most polished and a feature-rich micro framework. Flask comes with all its benefit with fast template. It's a easygoing and make our Flask lots of good features is having in a Flask, so we have used that. And advantage of our project as we can see that easy connecting, it's directly connecting donor and the recipient and make donation proficient. And prime motive to solve the perpetual of like a shortfall of a money, like if someone is needing, then it can easily approach to our app. It connect donors to a single platform and effortless access. It will be easy for people to log in and sign up and do their, and they can take what they want, like money for
Neelam,
that.
how will you know that somebody is needy or not? Whether he need blood actually or not? How we will identify?
So can you repeat?
How we can identify that some person is needy? Actually, he needs the blood,
Sir,
or how will?
yes, sir. Sir, we have set a mediator option in our app. So there will be one mediator who can verify the person who are needing money is needing money, or they really want the money for a good purpose, or for the purpose like for a welfare purpose, not for the fake one. So we have the verification method also, like Aadhaar card, PAN card, and so all the details we have also included in that. So verification can be done. And if, like, suppose someone want a loan for education, so we will take the slip of a college, in which college, for which college education loan is provided, and for like for what purpose basically it wants. So we can take the slip from that, being a mediator.
On what parameter you will maintain the transparency of this system?
Can you repeat?
You mentioned the verification process. Then what are the steps of these verification process that will ensure the correct needy people?
Okay, so in our backend also we have a one application form in which all the details will be filled by the needy person, like receiver, in which we have included many of the verification, like in every government also we have filled the details like Aadhaar card, PAN card. So they verify through our that, and we have also many other option for the verification, like OTP option also we have generated, email option also we have generated. We have also set the attached file option there. So the files which are needed for a particular donation for a particular receiver, we have also joined there. So a receiver can attach that and verify itself that it is not fake, or he really genuinely want a loan for a needy purpose.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Neelam. So the next paper ID is 119, 119. Please share
Yes,
the
sir.
PPT. Okay.
Yes.
So share your PPT.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Please share the slide. Now it is visible. Again, it is gone. Yes. Now it is visible. Shruti, you are not audible. Turn on the audio. Shruti Singh. Yes. Turn on the audio. Shruti, you are not audible.
Shruti, check your audio device.
Now, share the slide again. Check your audio.
Still not audible. Shruti, please check your audio.
Am I audible now, sir?
Now you're audible. Yes. Start your share your PPT. I think you have
Yes.
shared the screen.
Is it visible, sir?
Now it is visible. Yes, start.
Okay. So good morning, everybody. I am Shruti Singh, and I am going to present my research paper. My team members are Yogesh Kumar Singh and Richa Sinha, and under the guidance of Mr. Amit Bohra, sir, we started and continued this project. Okay. So these are the contents in my presentation. That is inspiration, abstract, what it does, stages involved, technologies we used, methodologies, proposed outcomes, utilization of the outcomes and challenges, and applications. So inspiration, how we got the inspiration to create this project. So nowadays we are hello.
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. So nowadays we are utilizing so much time in watching YouTube videos, like whether it is for entertainment, for education, or for any other things. So, and after watching 1 or 2 hours video, we realized that the video is not worth it. Like we didn't get any information we want from the video. So that's why we got the idea of creating this video. So we got the transcript of the summarized transcript of the video. So it saves our time. So abstract, enormous numbers of videos recordings are being created and shared on the YouTube video throughout the days. So it becomes very difficult to spend time in watching such videos. Like if the videos is 2 hours long or 3 hours long, it's become so hectic to watch those videos. So summarizing transcript of such videos will allow us to quickly look out the important patterns in the video and help us to save time and efforts to go through the whole content of the video. And what it does, basically, there is a Chrome extension where with the help of NLP, we created the Chrome extension, and there only we got the transcript of our video. So the summary is constant. Hello.
Yes,
Hello?
yes, you're audible. Continue.
Yeah, so the key points from the summarization process together with corresponding timestamps are then presented to the user through a small UI next to the video feed. So these are the stages involved. These are 5 basic stages involved in our project, in our research paper. First, we'll open a YouTube video and click on the summarize in the Chrome extension to create a HTTP request to the backend. Then we request transcript for a given video YouTube ID. Then we return transcript of a video ID as an HTTP response. Then we perform transcript summarization and return it as an HTTP response. And lastly, we display the summarized transcript on the extension. These are technologies we used. In front-end part, we used HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, and in the back-end part, we use Python. These are 7 methodologies we use. That's getting started with the back-end, get transcript of a given video, perform text summarization, create a REST API endpoint, getting started with Chrome extension, build a user interface for extension pop-up, and then display the summarized transcript. These are the outcomes. We should be able to fetch the transcript with the help of a function created, which will be later utilized as a feed input from the NLP process in the pipeline. And we should be able to verify that the model generates a completely new summarized text that is different from the original text. Utilization of the outcome and challenges. The outcome of this project is to understand the concept of NLP, that is natural language processing, making the YouTube video in a summarized form, which will save people's time. And out of numerous challenges we encountered throughout this, the most significant challenge was to overestimate of the technologies available to us. And our overestimation of the availability of transcripts service forced us to make compromises, while our attempts to get the YouTube players to control playback pressed us to create a hacky solution. Applications we like meeting and video conferencing and patent research. Thank you.
So how you can, what is the process of text summarization? Can you elaborate about the text summarization process?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So like there is an NLP, natural language processing. Through the help of NLP, we create a Chrome extension. There only we create a layout of a web page, and there we got the video URL. Sorry, sir. Hello.
Yes, you are audible. Please continue.
Yeah. So in that we have to paste the URL of a video, and then only we got the summarized text of that through the help of NLP.
So, what is the process of summarization? Just I want to know.
You will use
So
NLP,
like,
no doubt. You will use
yes, sir.
NLP.
So like
How it will
when we
summarize?
so it will give the transcript, like the first the captions, like the captions available on the video, it will get the transcript of that only, but without I mean the videos which don't have captions, we are working for it. We are not done that part. We are working on that.
It will identify the captions, and then it will
Yes.
how it will select.
Give the transcript.
It will select the random things from there.
No, sir. Like there's a web page, and in that web page there's a box, like we have to put our video URL there, and then we got through the help of NLP we got the transcript of that video.
Okay.
Yes.
So shall we move next? Okay, thank you,
Sorry, sir?
Shruti.
Okay, thank you so much, sir.
So the next paper ID is 120. Paper
Hello.
ID 120, yes.
Yeah.
From Khatri.
Yes, sir.
Share the PPT.
Sir, it's visible?
Yes, it is visible. Start from the first slide.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Shubham Khatri. Today I am presenting my project Card King with my guide SP Jakar, sir, Assistant Professor of CSE branch, and my project partners Mayank Modi, Piyush Isharia, and Sandeep Kumar. This is an e-commerce application based on nearby stores. That Card King project is based on e-commerce, which helps to share projects, stores that are available nearby you. Contents, that's meaning and definition of e-commerce, problem definitions, explanation, development process, and language used for project. E-commerce is a basics platform that help a seller and a buyer to deal with products and services. In e-commerce, we use that we have to share a local stores that are present nearby you to share products. In this COVID situation, we find that all stores are e-commerce are not available for rest of times. So nearby stores are available to share their products, or all products are available on platforms that you buy from e-commerce, that also available at nearby stores that are present nearby. E-commerce have different business models like B2B, B2C, C2B, and C2C. C2C is a consumer to consumer. A seller is also a consumer and a buyer is also a consumer. C2B is a consumer to business and business to consumer. Consumer to business is like you write a review that's are helpful for businesses. That's a e-commerce business model run. Problems in today's world, we can notice that people require goods from local stores, but that are available on online also, but in minimum time. So we decided that local stores can deliver their product in minimum times. For this, we developed an local store apps that have locations with a range that shows your stores with items in that. The main purpose of application is to provide goods products from nearby store within a small duration of time. By using this standard, we have to implement a mobile application with daily use item in near stores. User can buy products from their favorite stores, share images, some addition chat features with their stores. And this is how our app looks like. That's a front end part, a home page, and a account page that person can add locations, check orders, and refer with friends and many features. Development process. We have some research, set goals, write platform and UI UX designs, build MVP and gather feedbacks. Uh, how we are different. Like in COVID, e-commerce delivery was stopped. So we will ensure safe and fast delivery from the nearby stores within times. Old age people also don't have suffer and to go out for buying a goods, so it will help them. Local stores also have benefits for selling their products. They have also capable storage to sell their product, uh, so they also have sell their goods easily. Language we use Flutter and Dart for our part, and backend part we use a Firebase that have capable storage and user data collections and many more features. Thank you, sir. Hello.
So Shubham, how have you inserted the GPS locations or location? How you will trace the location?
Sir, we can get from Google Map API, which we inserted in that, and for that we get fetch the camera positions of their GPS location from the programming.
But sir, any question?
No, sir. Okay, can continue.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Shubham.
Thank you, sir.
The next PPT is 121.
So am I audible?
Yes, Chirag, share your PPT. You're audible.
Just a minute, sir. So is my PPT visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Good morning, sir. First of all, thank you for giving me an opportunity to represent myself over here. I'm Chirag Patni and I'm representing on the research apartment alliances along with my teammates Arya Upadhyay, Ankit Sharma, Ashutosh Damania under the guidance of Ms. Kekashin ma'am. Apartment alliance is what we are working on. So introduction, what is apartment alliance? Apartment alliance is basically we will going to build an Android application to search the apartments properties for the renting purpose or for buying purposes. So like everything is going online, so we also decided and research on this that we can bring the homes details also on the online platform. Oh, so the problem definition. Now, why we are working on this project? Though there are many projects available, like we have the Magic Bricks website also available online that helps us to find the perfect stay, but they have like some things like they don't have the proper images for of the houses. They don't have the video to. They don't have the proper location landmarks to search the property properly. So on the based on our research, we find out these drawbacks in those places. So we decided to make an application that will fulfill all those deficiencies that were there. So in our application, what we will have is that we will give the options to upload 4 to 5 images minimally, so that the whoever wants to buy the property can have the perfect look of the property. And along with the images, there will be an option of the video tour of the house. The owner who will upload the property will also give the video tour of the application of the property, so that the buyer can completely see how the house is or the property is. And along with that, to solve the problems of the location drawbacks that were in the other apps. So for that, we will give the perfect landmark along with some nearby buildings to redirect to the place. And along with that, the owner will share the Google Maps link so that the user can directly see where exactly the place is. And to make this project, we are using the tools and technologies. So the tool that we are using to develop the Android application is the Android Studio. Android Studio is the best studio for creating the Android application. It makes the app size very less than the other platforms, and it is very user friendly. And now the application consists of the 3 main parts, that is the front end, the back end, and the database to deal with the data. So for the front-end purpose, we are actually using the XML, which is an extensible markup language, which uses the tag to structure the page for the user, whoever will see the application, that is the user interface. So we are using the XML for it. For the backend purpose, so we are using the Kotlin programming language, which is officially announced by the Google that that Kotlin will be the best language for the Android app development. Though we can use the Java language also, but Java has some drawbacks as compared to the Kotlin. Like Kotlin is the main advantage of using the Kotlin is that it helps in using the null safety. Like Java has null pointer exception, which causes the crashes of the application. But in the Kotlin, these problems are resolved. And along with that, the Kotlin reduces the boilerplate code that the Java used to have. So these are some of the advantages over the Java of using the Kotlin. Now to deal with the data, we are using the Firebase. Firebase is a real-time database that has a very less latency of about few seconds only. It is the best database for using in the mobile application. It is a lightweight, makes the application very less size and along with this, it is very less costly in the compared to other databases. Now, how we have designed the application. Now, how will the application flow? This screen is common for both buyer and seller. On the login, on the first starting the application, the user will go to the splash screen, from where he will then move to the login screen. Splash screen will have a time of 2 to 3 seconds, and then moving to we'll move to the login screen. If the user is new, then he will register himself on the registration screen, and then he will go back to the login screen after having all the credentials. Then on the login screen, user will enter his credentials again. If he is an old user and forgot his password, then he can move to the forget password screen, and he can reset his password and then back to the login screen. On successful login, he will then move to the next screen where he has to enter the user details. Now this is the application flow for buyer. On the successful registration and login, he will move to the user details screen where he will enter his details, and then he will move to the dashboard. The dashboard will now consist of the 3 fragments. First, the home screen, the other one is the favorite screen, and the third one is the profile screen. Profile screen will contain all the details of the user. And on the home screen, he will see all the available houses according to his filters and priorities. Like if he wants to filter according to the landmark, according to the distance area where he wants to live, or any of the things that he can filter using those, and those properties will be listed along with it. The properties can be added to the favorite, like if he wants to shortlist some of the properties, so he can use the favorite button available on the property details screen, and then the property will move to the favorite screen, that is, it will be shortlisted. And if the buyer wants to see the property, that where the property is, then he can use the Google Map link available on the app itself. So he will then redirect to the Google Map, and so he can see the perfect location of the property over there. And in case if he wants to contact the owner, so it's just a one tap away from the owner just to call him. This is the application flow for buyer. And if the seller is using the application, then the user details screen will be same for him. He also has to enter his details, and then on his dashboard he will get 3 different fragments. The profile fragment will be same for both the user and for the buyer and the seller. The home screen and the upload property will be different for both buyer and seller. In case if he has already uploaded some of the properties, then he will see those properties on the home screen. And in case if he is uploading a new property, then he will go to this fragment, upload property fragment, then he will upload the details of the property, and then he will, on successful submission of the details, then he will go move back to the home screen. There he can see his property details, and on clicking this on the property, he will see the complete details of the property. In case if he wants to add some more images or any further details, then he can go to the edit details of the property, edit it, and on submission, he will get back to the property details page. This is the application flow for seller. Now, what are the main features of the application? The main feature is real-time update. Like we are using the Firebase, so Firebase has a very few latency of about few seconds only. So if a seller adds a property in his account, then it will be shown within few seconds to the buyer in his the instant connect. Like we can connect to the buyer can connect to the seller in just a one tap only. Landmark search, like if even he is having some issue with the network connectivity or with the Google Maps, then we will give the functionalities like to reach over there, like the landmark search. So this will help him to reach. What we will bring in the future update is the voice commands, like using the app only with the voice commands only. and AI bot to assist help. This will be just same like a filter function only. Like AI bot will filter the things for the buyer and he will get the shortlisted content. And what is the conclusion? The conclusion is that we will get a final application for the buyer and sellers. The buyer can buy the property along with very ease facilities and according to his prices specifications. Thank you, sir.
Chirag, if we see in currently there are a lot of applications like 99 Acre, Magic Bricks, Housing.com.
Yes, sir.
Just you prepared. So how you can differentiate that your project or your prototype will be better than that?
Sir, what they are lacking is that the if you see the Magic Bricks or 99acres.com, that you can upload your property with just a single image only. And a single image is not sufficient enough to show the complete house. So we will give a barrier over there that at least seller has to upload at least 4 to 5 property images so that the buyer can completely see the property along with the video too. Video tour is optional on all the platforms till now.
No, housing.com such type of applications have more can upload more images.
Sir, you can upload more images, but imaging only one image is necessary.
Okay. Or any other feature?
Sir, we are working actually on the voice command, but it is actually difficult for us. Like have tested the text to speech, but still not all the app is working on it. So we will try to implement it.
Okay. Over to Dr. Sir.
Chirag, how will you upload the video? Can you explain the process of this?
Sir, video tour is like the seller will simply upload the video of the property, just like he will upload the image, so he can directly upload the video also.
Have you given the link how it will be uploaded there?
Sir, just like we will get the option to upload the image over in the app, there will be an option also for the video also. You just have to select the video from the gallery, and then you have to upload over there.
How the space will be allocated?
So for the space purpose, we are using the Firebase. So the data will be directly sent to the Firebase and it will be stored over there only.
Okay, thank you, Chirag.
Thank you so much, sir.
The next paper ID is 122. Paper ID 122. The next participant is 122. Are you ready? Paper ID 122.
Wait, sir. Hello.
Okay. Vishal Rana.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Share your PPT and start with the presentation.
Sir, is my PPT visible?
Yes, it is visible. Come to the first slide. Yes.
Yes, sir. Wait. Is I am visible? Hello. Hello.
Turn on your video. Slide is visible.
Oh, wait, sir.
Okay, Vishal, continue.
Hello. Good morning,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Let me introduce my project guide. That is Miss Garima Sharma, ma'am, and my other project member is Varun Sharma. Okay. Okay. So let's start. Wait. So first of all, the main question come into the mind is that why online parking booking system? So as we all know, each day in India, there are approx 53,700 vehicles driven in daily basis. And how we manage these cars? So we come up with the solutions. So let me introduce the content part of this. We learn about introduction, parking issues, parking activities, parking problems, proposal, research methodology, and so on. Introduction. It is the integrated system to organize car. It is an integrated system to organize car in public. Students see various parking slots with parking system and can select nearby or specific area to see parking space availability. The student can cancel his booking anytime and bin moderate this system. Parking issues. Growing challenges of traffic and parking in urban areas. As we all know, this is a problem which you all face, that where to park your car is a major issue, major parking issue. Traffic includes by entering, exiting, parking, increase complaints and revenues. Okay. Please. Parking service provider. Parking service provider is a new business entity representing parking IoT owners or intermediators. Cloud platforms. Development with our project partners with new services that expand parking inventory and streamline parking operations. Parking service, it is also known as parking service provider, which means the person or the organization appointed by the council to operate and maintain the parking system. Research methodology. Research methodology, it is defined the techniques or the procedures that are used to identify and analyze information regarding the specific research topic. And these are the main research methodologies. Internet of Things interface. Parking application need a common abstractions of and standard interact with parking spaces. IoT layers provides internet connectivities to sensing devices through communication technologies. IoT infrastructure harness physical heterogeneity of parking senses, render then as a shared representation via standard RESTful web servers. Sensing as a server. Sensor-enabled devices are data collectors. Device owners offer device sensors data collections capacities as service to applications. Sensor-enabled web services are given by cheaper sensors are promoting the development of applications that respond to sensor data. Embedded sensors within web servers are now easily programmable. Web of the servers are modeled via standard methodologies, describe complex applications. Cloud computing enables server to offload their payload backends. Sensing as a server middleware. Architecture based on event driver SOA to address capacities need to represent real-time IoT infrastructures. Sensor adapters layer providing an interface where underlined IoT infrastructure to address the technical diversity of sensor type and
Vishal, just explain me how your app is different from the other apps, and how have you developed this app? What is the technology? Just explain me.
By this app, we promote digitalization and we use a new app market, and we give employment to other people as well. We take part in revenue collection as well, and we ensure road safety as well.
So what is sensing as a service? What is the meaning of sensing as a service? How have you developed this app? Can you explain? What is the technology you have used?
Sir, technologies at the back end, we use C, C++, and JavaScript. And front end, we use SQL, MySQL, Node.js, etc.
Vishal, can you explain the role of IoT in this project or in this technology?
Sir, as of now,
where is the IoT?
we are what, sir?
Where is IoT?
Where is the IoT in this system?
Sir, as of now, it is a academic project, but we are working to move it on a real-time application, and IoT is used. There are lots of sensor is used in this project, like we use Google Map also to see the parking slots in a parking area where we can park our car as well.
How it will identify the parking area through Google Map? How we can find out? How we can find out the parking area through Google Map? Can you explain?
Parking, sir, lots of parking areas are nearby institutions, are nearby colleges, nearby institutions. So it's easy to find parking space.
What is the role of sensors? What the sensors will do? What is the working of sensors?
Sir, as we move this project in real time, the sensor can sense the environment, sensor can sense the barricades. When a vehicle or a car comes, wait, sir.
Where are you going
Vishal,
to
in this slide,
yeah.
Just a minute, sir. In this slide, in the last line, last paragraph, you mentioned the semantic mediator layer imports sensor description in sensor ML and translates it to OWL description using ontology. What is the ontology?
Sir, as of now, I don't know about this word. Sorry, sir.
What is OWL description? OWL. What is SOA? I think you have no idea of the technology, how it will work actually. Okay, thank you so much, Vishal.
Oh.
The next paper ID is 122. I think this was the 122 ID. Next paper ID is 123. 123.
Hello.
Yes.
Is I audible?
Yes, you are audible. What is your paper ID, Satyendra?
Yes, I'm sorry. So is it visible or not?
It is visible. Start.
So, hello, I'm Satyendra, and our project is multi-channel marketing. So, and other members of this project are Ravindra Pratap and Sachin Das, and our project guide is Ms. Shivani Khandelwal. So first I'll tell you about what multi-channel marketing is. So basically multi-channel marketing refers to the practice by which companies interact with customers with the help of multiple channels like they are both direct channels and indirect channels. So companies use direct channels to reach to their customer through some physical stores and sending them direct mails, and indirect channels, companies use indirect channels to push their content with the help of some websites and social media. The interaction between the interaction with the help of indirect channels between customers and the marketers is also known as inbound marketing. So here are the objectives of multi-channel marketing. So these are analyze the indicators and share best practices about how to reach specific audiences and help the marketers to understand when to use particular tactics within their campaigns. So the first is multi-channel campaign. So marketers use many channels in their multi-channel campaign. So as you can see here that email and social media marketing are the top two channels that marketers usually use to interact with their customer. So multi-channel marketing is based on the fact that customers have more choices than ever in the terms of getting information about the products they choose. So the growth of email and social media marketing has caused marketing departments to increase their presence on these channels in order to develop their customer relationship management efforts. So what are the success factors of a multi-channel campaign? So there are many factors that contribute in the success of multi-channel marketing. As we can see here that the accuracy in the data and the need of the audience and the customers are the top two factors that used for the success of any multi-channel marketing campaign. Next is the direct mail. multi-channel campaigns with and without using direct mail. So e-commerce websites use online contents that show ads to their customers and users that irritates them and forces them to install some ad blockers. Instead of repeating these common mistakes, the marketers can try to use direct mail marketing. In this chart, we can see that return of investment with the help of direct mail and without the help of direct mail. So when direct mail is the part of the channel, we report that the return of investment from their multi-channel marketing campaigns are better. So what are the benefits of multi-channel marketing? So 360-degree of the view of the customer. So having a 360-degree view of the customer creates more marketing opportunities and a more personalized experience for the customer, because customers send feedback that help the company to understand what the customer expect and what the customer need and how to improve, how the company will improve their product and the service they are offering. Competitive advantage. In the multi-channel marketing, the companies identify the strategies and of the strategies of their competitors and how to focus on the channels that others do not. Greater visibility and more sales. Companies basically use various channels to attract their customer.
Satyendra, can you focus on your work related to the multi-channel marketing?
Hello, sir.
What you did, I'm saying that can you focus on your work, especially related to the multi-channel marketing? What you did new?
Sir, we are making a website that is in progress now.
So what have you done differently from the other works? What have you done so far? And you are not visible in the camera also.
So I'm visible now.
Yes, you are visible. Can you elaborate what have you done so far and how it is different?
Sir, we have made a login page and you use some templates in the websites, but it is in progress now. So
How your website is different from the currently available multi-channel marketing related websites?
sir, we haven't done that much work, so I can't tell you that much.
How you can define content syndication? You mentioned in your second slide that the content syndication. So how you can define? Yes, second last. Sorry. Come to the second slide. Here in the second last term is the content syndication.
Yes.
What is this?
Content syndication is a term by which marketers push their content through social media or some websites.
You have already mentioned the social media marketing 84%. So I think it should be different from that.
So I don't know.
So you can continue, but focus on your work, that what you are doing.
Yes, sir.
Just come to that slide where you have done some specific new work. Come to that slide. Be specific.
So that's all.
Nowhere you mentioned that what the type of work is carried out by you. Just you mentioned about the multi-channel marketing.
You have just written the theoretical part. Where is the elaboration that you will do this new thing in it? What have you added in it?
Satendra, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Please, your video is not clear and your face are also not clear. So please, some adjustment to your camera. Then after just show your face. Because yeah, and
Yes,
some
sir.
little bit till your camera. Yeah. Then after just one question. Benefits of multi-channel marketing. So actually, I have not idea about a 360-degree view. So how can we achieve the 360 view in the customer care?
Sir, having a 360-degree view is a help to the marketers to understand the customer, that what is the customer wants from the product that he is choosing.
Then, can you on scene your video because your face not clear? Why I don't know. Yeah.
So is it
That's good.
visible?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
Please explain it.
So having a 360-degree view of the customer is a help to the marketers to understand what the customer needs, and on the basis of that they can improve in the product.
Okay, Satan, thank you. Thank you for presenting your PPT and present a paper in an international conference. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Satendra. The next paper ID is 124. Paper ID 124. Share your PPT. Yes, Lucky. Yes, it is visible.
The camera is also on.
Turn on the camera. Just start. Turn on the camera and start.
Yes, sir. Visible?
Let
Hello?
me check. Let me check. You're visible? Yes, Lucky. Start. You are not audible. You are not audible.
Good afternoon, sir. We
Yes.
all know that we are gathered here. You are for international conference on data science and engineering application. And topic my presentation is Dhun, the music app. That's it. Develop and create an intuitive understanding for music as a cultural language. Afford human opportunity for culture and aesthetic experience as through activity participation in music. Enhance their understanding and appreciation of the art and the faster interaction between music and library art. Next, introduction. One the music is the app used to stream song and play music. And music has been around for years. We have a song for parties and occasion, work and examine dancing and meditation. The purpose of the study is develop and implement an online stream app which is more user friendly and cost low with more better interface. And what is music? Music is the art of arranging sound in timing through and the element melody, harmony, and timer. It is one of the universal culture accept of the all human society. General definition of music is include two common human such as pitch, which is the govern the melody, the rhythm. That's it. And features. Features like registration and logging, authentication, social media integration, music categorization, recommendation, and music collection, push notification, and download save option, offline access, and main features of add to YouTube playlist. Next, registration and login authentication. It is a step us build a strong community, but also to provide the highly personalized experience for your user. We might ask for age and suggest popular music among certain user category. Otherwise, simplify put the direct question about user music preference. Next, music categorization. User must feel flexible to search and track the artist. For the smooth experience, we might provide the categorization of playlist, general popularity, other rating, year of record, mode, activities, etc. Both browsing and music arrangement are among key movements to impress your potential customer. Recommendation. Recommendation like the might obtain point at the development stage. We have to create the unique algorithm which has to suggest user various playlists and song based on their preference. The app might based on the either user behavior like the most of play song, favorite artist, skip song, favorite songs, etc. Or calibrating filtering music preference like a minded user. Then push notification. Notification like inform your user about the event, nearby latest music, news or favorite artist release. Frankly speaking, the user wants listen to user app throughout all day. Notifications like kindly remind about your while bringing useful update alongside. And main is add your YouTube playlist. Main features. We can add YouTube playlist on the Zoom Music app. We have the algorithm which is convert to MP4 to MP3. Then add to music app song. Then finally store the playlist. And the technical detail of my project like hardware requirement, 2 GB RAM, 15 GB free disk space at minimum, 120 GB recommended, and dual core processor and minimum 1.3 gigahertz, network speed minimum 4 MB per second, and software requirement like Android Studio version 3.6 or higher than, and you can use to one or two level lower than this, but is recommended like Windows used to Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, and like user interface login page like.
Lucky, just a question that how you can decide that the maximum, minimum speed should be 100 MB.
What's that?
Yeah, come to the last last slide.
Yes, sir.
Yes, here you mentioned the network speed minimum of 100 Mbps. So how you can decide the network speed?
Sir, because
It's for the streaming purpose.
What's that?
You require the network speed. So how you decide that the minimum value should be 100 Mbps?
Yes, sir.
How
Sir,
will you
because
decide?
sound quality is good and
What is the criteria? How will you decide?
what's that?
Why have you mentioned 100 Mbps only? Why it can't be 1 GB or why it can't be 50 Mbps? What is the criteria for this? Why we need 100 Mbps?
Because no buffering and speed sound quality is good and
Can you come to the next slide? I think this is the last slide.
The user interface, like new user in the email and password and nickname, then sign up. And user is already signed up, then login, email ID and password, then login. And home page is like this. And show to good evening, this page, good evening made for you, but show to new songs and new artists, and just like user song, listing a song to list on the home page, song and artist. That's just like. And thank you, sir.
Okay.
So lucky you didn't mention anywhere the prototype requirement, the language or codes or the algorithms for your this project. And also there are a lot of such type of applications related to the music. So what is new in your application? How you can say that your application will be better from these?
The news and add to YouTube playlist, not other app. Add to playlist and no subsystem. And easily to YouTube playlist used to algorithm to convert MP4 music to MP3 and add. And no add to then the other.
Your voice is not properly audible.
What's that?
You are not
Yes,
clearly
yes, please
audible.
speak.
Yes. There are many websites that is asking that, like Amazon Music is there. There are many websites we can use directly and we can listen to the music. So what is different part? What have you added in it?
The difference like no add and no subsystem rate and easily use and not more information to user to sign up and log in. Just like other app, sign up, mail ID, name, email ID, password, and phone number, and other details. They have no mention to our app. Only mention email ID, name, and password to log in, and no subscription. And use to
But lucky, as per your application, your network speed requirement is too much 100 Mbps. Currently, many of applications required lower data bit rate. So how you can say that this is the advanced application? How you can ensure?
Can repeat?
I'm saying that in general, there are a lot of applications related to the music that required very low data speed, means the network speed, which you mentioned the 100 Mbps in your application.
Yes, sir.
That is the minimum requirement from your side. So how you can say that this is the advanced application? I think the network speed is too high for your application especially.
सॉरी पर सर वो 100 KB था सर, वो गलती से मेंशन हो गया, MB हो गया, वो एक ही जगह M हो गया.
Okay.
Sorry sir.
It is okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay. The next paper ID, the last paper ID for this session is 135.
Hello.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Rishi, please share your PPT.
Am I visible?
Yes.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes, start.
Okay, so good afternoon, one and all present here. My name is Rishi Vijay, and today I'm going to present my research paper, which we have made regarding our project, that is Second Home, a hostel management system. We are 4 group members, me, that is Rishi Vijay, with me, Sheenu, Samiksha Paliwal, Kanika Sharma, and we have made this project under the guidance of Mrs. Shivangi Khandelwal. Let's start with the introduction. we have made this project on the Salesforce platform. So let's first of all understand that why Salesforce. As we know that traditionally hostel management services are managed using normal registers or Excel sheets or any traditional services, but no hostel management systems are using Salesforce or cloud-based applications. So we four of us have decided to use a cloud-based, make a cloud-based application to automate various services that are being done in the hostel. As we know that Salesforce is a cloud-based CRM software. So everything on the Salesforce is cloud-based, so it is available everywhere. We don't have to maintain a hard copy of everything, or we don't have to take records with us everywhere we go. We just need an internet connection, and we can easily log in into the software and can access the records. Let's start with the objective of our project. We purpose to build a software project that can efficiently handle various activities of hostel, and all these activities will be happening under the supervision of the administrator. The activities in the hostels are now growing constantly. At the same time, for managing and operations and tasks arises. The best way to optimize these activities is managing them online as well. Today's generation encourages high-tech services, especially over the internet. Hence, the project is developed proficiently to help hostel owners automate their business operations. The project serves the best way of maintaining students' information and their needs. So this is how our homepage is going to look like. This project is completely built on Salesforce platform. We are using Salesforce very own product, Sales Cloud, to make our project. We have named it as Second Home to give all the students a feel of their home. We are automating processes and making it easier for the students so that they can actually call the hostel as their second home. Let's first understand what exactly is Salesforce. Before Salesforce, CRM solutions were hosted on Before Salesforce, CRM softwares were hosted on companies' own server. Can you imagine the cost and time it took the companies to have their own CRM solutions? Well, it is used to take months or even years to set it up, and the cost went to millions of dollars. This was the main idea behind the Salesforce. Salesforce initially started as a software as a service company. It has its very first product as Sales Cloud, where any company can manage its sales related services using Sales Cloud of the Salesforce. But later on, it has grown so much that now it also manages the marketing related services of any company, also e-commerce related services and service related services of any company. Salesforce started as SaaS company. Salesforce now provide various software solutions platform for users to develop and distribute custom software. Salesforce.com is based on a multi-tenant architecture, and when I say multi-tenant architecture, it means that everything is shared. The various organizations are sharing resources over the cloud. This means that multiple customers share common technology and all run on latest release. As I mentioned earlier, there are various clouds in Salesforce. We have Sales Cloud to manage sales related services. We have Commerce Cloud to manage commerce related. We have Experience Cloud to give user a good experience, that is UI. We have Marketing Cloud to manage marketing related services. And then we have Service Cloud to manage all the service related services. As I already mentioned that Salesforce is a CRM, but also very few people know that actually when everyone heard the term Salesforce, they usually relate Salesforce with sales related things, but actually Salesforce is for developers. The actual thing or the custom development done on the Salesforce is proper work of developers, but Salesforce is a low code platform. That is traditionally high code languages are used, but on Salesforce it is a low code platform. That means we can say that it is a mixture of both coding and no coding. Also, it has these 4 automation tools: process builder, workflow, flow builder, and approvals, which reduces the work to a huge extent. It doesn't mean that it does not include coding, because in our project as well, we are using a large amount of coding, but using these 4 automation tools, our work got easier to a large extent. These are some benefits of using Salesforce. It is low cost. It is completely cloud-based, supported by all the browsers, require no software to install, and there are no hardware requirements either. So now let's move on to our project. What will be our work plan? So first, we are going to gather all the requirements for the project by analyzing our surroundings. As myself being a hostel student, so I will be analyzing all the things or the processes which are happening in our hostel. After analyzing all the requirements, we'll start working on the front end part of our project. That means the data modeling part. in Salesforce, front end also can be divided into two parts. One is data modeling and another is UI. Data modeling basically means creation of the objects. So while creating the objects, we basically we create the objects where we store the data, and then we have to relate those objects with each other so that the relationship can be maintained. An easy example can be the relationship between the student and a room. There can be a student object and there can be a room object. So there will be a relationship between the student and the room, that the which room is allocated to which student. Then we'll start automating the processes using the automation tool. For example, whenever a room will be allocated to any student, a mail will be automatically sent to him or her. So in this way, this process will be automated. Then after automating the processes, we'll be working on the UI part of the project. The UI part of the project will be completely made from the LWC framework, that is Lightning Web Component. It is a Salesforce based framework having similar syntax to JavaScript and HTML, CSS. It is a Salesforce very own framework, that is LWC. So we'll be making all our UI pages using LWC framework for both the admin and students using LWC. Then we'll use Apex to make triggers and classes to integrate backend with frontend. Here's a ER diagram that shows the progress which we have done till now. There is this object student which has its own attributes, like basically these attributes are the fields in which the data is stored, like student have name, roll number, year, branch, room number. It has a relationship to room, like room has its own attributes like room number, seater, whether it is furnished or AC or non-AC. Then as we all know, whenever a student has to get out of the hostel, he or she has to do a gate entry. So for that also we have an object students. I will show that UI to you. So yeah, and then also a student has a relationship to hostel, that which hostel he or she is residing in. Then hostel has a relationship to warden, that which warden is assigned to which hostel, and what all services it is being doing. So this is a UI page of the gate entry page which I have been made. Hello. Hello.
Yes, you can keep continuing.
Can I continue?
Yes, you can continue.
Okay, so this is the UI page that I made using LWC purely based on Lightning Web Component framework. So as we know, as there's some disturbance, I guess.
Hemant sir, please mute. Hemant sir.
Hemant sir, please turn off the audio. Hemant sir, are you there? Kौन sir? Hemant sir. Turn off the audio.
Okay. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a gate entry page. As we know, whenever we move out of the hostel, we do the gate entry in registers, and the hostel management has to remove that register every week. So there is a paper wastage as well, and also that is not efficient. So if there is a handy software in hands of student where they can easily do the gate entry, and when they come back, they can easily enter the in time, then it will be easier for both the management and the students to manage the services. So this is the gate entry page which we developed using the LWC framework. Then this is the UI of the room object. So basically, whenever any management want to see that which students are allocated to which room number, then he or she can easily see that, okay, this is the student that is allocated to this room number, and these are the details of that room. Now the things to be done, as the project is still in the progress. So these are all the things to be done. We are planning to have a LWC page completely dedicated to mess related work, where we are going to show menu of whole day for whole week. So the mess in charge as well as the students can check the menu before going to the mess. So if he or she has any any specific choice, and if they want to order something from outside, they can do that as well. We'll be making UI pages to show various events of the college which are organized by the hostel. As all of us know that majorly college events are managed and done by hostel or hostel students. So there will be a complete object dedicated to events where students can check the events or teachers as well as the new students can check that which all are the students who are the event managers or the coordinators for that event. We'll be making some separate object to automate the whole complaint management system. As we know that if a student is residing in the hostel, it's pretty obvious that he or she will get some complaints, like sometimes the bathroom is not cleaned or fan is not working properly or whatever the problem is. So there we have to do complaint. So for that, we'll be automating that process, that when students can with an in-handy software, he or she can file the complaint, and it will be automatically get assigned to the concerned person. So he or she will come to the room and solve that problem. We'll be adding library related functionality as well. As we know that hostel students can have access to library more in, like I can say, zyada der tak they can get access to the library as compared to day scholar students. So for that also we'll be having a functionality. We already have objects for sports management, where we can easily see which student is playing with sport and who all are the students in charge for that sport. So here I conclude that hostel management system is a customized and user-friendly software for hostel. It has been designed to automate, manage, and look after all the processing of every very large hostel. It is capable of managing inquiry details, student details, payment details, etc. Hostel management system is a customized, user-friendly software for hostel which provide hostel information, hostel room information, hostel accounts information. Hostel management software system is offering a maximum of stability, cost effectiveness, and usability. It provides the most flexible, adaptable standards management system software solutions for hostel. Thank you.
So good, Rishi Vijay. Your presentation is very much good. Or also, I can suggest that you can add the daily attendance mechanism for the residing students inside the hostel. Is it possible?
Okay, yeah. Yes, yeah, definitely. So that's a very good idea. I'll work on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over to Dakar sir.
Okay, thank you, Rishi. It was a very nice presentation, and the project is also seems to be very good. So,
thank you so much, sir.
So all the paper IDs we have completed so far. So this technical session 1 is over from our side. So we will again meet at 1:30 p.m. for the next technical session. And I want to thank all the members and all the session chairs, especially Dr. R. Patidar sir. Thank you so much for this session, for
Thanks
giving
to
your
you.
valuable time.
Thanks to you, sir, also.
Okay, we will meet again at 1:30 p.m. for the second technical session headed by Dr. Mamta Sharma and Dr. Aarti Singh. So I request all the participants to join again at 1:30 p.m. Thank you so much.